The real voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. I have taken so many journeys outside my comfort zone to experience new cultures, to understand humanity, to experience God. But I have realized the most important journey in one's life is the journey within. Freedom means the capability to say yes when yes is needed, to say no when no is needed, and sometimes to be quiet when nothing is needed, to be silent, not to say anything. When all those dimensions are available, there is freedom. How to live one's life is the one question that has transformed itself into millions of questions, creating so many different religions in the world. In this journey, I seek answers to some of my questions.
In Hiroshima, some Nobel laureates sort of meeting for peace summit. So at the end, one more ceremonial way, some local Japanese officials also there. As you know, Japanese officials, they are rather sort of more formal way, like that. So then some other Nobel laureate, they mentioned peace, with blessing of God or Buddha, peace will prevail. Then my turn, at that sort of meeting, more formal meeting. I always talk bluntly or frankly, so I told there also, peace, world peace through prayer will not achieve. Peace achieved only through our action, human action. So action is more important than prayer. I expressed that. So I felt those Japanese officials, what is their sort of face? I look, they also agree, do that.
Foundation for Universal Responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama organizes a 14-day interfaith program across south of India. 30 participants are selected from all over the world. They experience different religions, understand different philosophies, and go closer to find themselves. I took the same road in 2009 as a participant, and it had changed my life. I am taking the same journey again, but this time as a filmmaker, to witness the change this journey was about to bring.
कौन सा वाला गाना?
कोई भी आपका फेवरेट?
ठीक है। हम तेरे बिना अब रह नहीं सकते, तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा, तुझसे जुदा अगर हो जाएंगे, खुद से भी हो जाएंगे खफा, क्योंकि तुम ही हो, अब तुम ही हो, जिंदगी अब तुम ही हो, चैन भी मेरा दर्द भी मेरी आशिकी अब तुम ही हो.
Every year takes something, and every year is a new journey for me. There's a new people. Of course, we're going to same places.
This is the 10th year of the Youth Interfaith Pilgrimage program, and it's a program to travel. We call it pilgrimage because we're going to different religion centers and not only discussing, listening to the people of different faith, lectures, but also to go to each place and go to their places of worship and to understand their thoughts, faith, and to engage with the community itself. So we actually meet different kind of people. So at the end of the program, we believe the participants will get a kind of a clear picture or the conceptions that they have before, maybe they will change, and basically to respect different people and different faiths, which makes the person, the participant, a better person at the end of the day, I think.
Every religion has something really interesting and smart in it, even if it's not your own religion. So I came here because I want to know more about those religions.
There is something more to life, and we have to see that what that is, and it's very important to find out, and that's particularly why I'm here at Interfaith, because in a way we're exploring the roots of religion. But religion is not just particularly religion as what people think. Religion is something that it is the very core of our structural, the structure of our society is formed in religion.
According to my experience conducting this program for almost 7 years now, what I have seen is, at the end of the program, it brings kind of an harmony, I think, in their own mind about other faith. And basically, it brings a kind of a respect. And this is the main agenda. I mean, we are not actually going to criticize different faith or different people, what they're doing, but actually to understand what they're doing and why they're doing.
I grew up completely without any religion, and I would stick to my religion is compassion or humanity. So for me, the Interfaith Pilgrimage is very interesting, just to get an overview over all the different religions. I came in contact with religion before, but never really that deeply.
I believe in God. I don't believe in a specific religion, really. I don't follow any specific religion, but I believe in something which I would like to call God.
I always describe Indians, our guru, you. Actually, historically, our guru, we are Chada. So sometimes among our gurus, a little bit sort of the unhealthy things like corruptions. So that's really, I feel very serious. The non-believer, like communist in Russia or in China, it's quite understandable. They don't care about moral principles, moral thing. But India, this is a religious nation. I think many of these corrupted officials or corrupted politicians, I think in their home, I think some statue of Ganesh or some statue of Brahma, some statue of Vishnu, like that, Shivaji. So these are religious-minded people. I think every morning they worship, offer some flower, some incense, but they don't care about these sort of laws or teaching. They just carry various methods in order to gain money. Corruptions, exploitations, bully, lie, like that, isn't it?
Eyes are just windows. They can't see unless you see through them. How can a window see? You have to stand at the window. Only then can you see.
Islam has two root words to it. One is silm, which is meaning surrender, sincerity, submission. And the other word is salm, which is peace. So if you put these two things together, it's peace acquired by submitting, surrendering, and posing sincerity to God Almighty.
Jain means one who has conquered one's own self is a Jain. and those who practice these principles, all of them are Jains. I'm not only a Jain, others can also be Jains if at all they practice the concepts of ahimsa, satya, achorya, brahmacharya, aparigraha.
A person who follows Christ, because the Bible and especially New Testament is very clear that Jesus did not, his purpose was not to start a religion of what we understand Christianity today, but it is a movement. It is an experience of God that is open to all and welcome to everybody. So therefore, in that sense, for me personally, it's my personal opinion, that somebody who is not part of the Christian religion, so to say, as part of the church structure, could still follow Christ, Jesus Christ, and still be called a Christian. There is nobody who can stop him.
See, literal meaning of a Sikh is a person who is a learner. That means in your life, you have to be always a learner. You cannot call yourself as a guru. Even if you are a very learned person, you will keep learning. What is guru is our Guru Granth Sahib, which have all the teachings of gurus, several saints from various regions across the world, and we consider that as our guru and ourselves as a learner or a Sikh.
These three people follow different religious paths. When they died, surprisingly they find that they are in the same place, whatever it may be, the hell or the heaven or then they will, when they meet at that point, they might say, "Arey, you are following Islam, I'm following Buddhism, but we meet at the same place. What's going on?"
Any person who creates bloodshed is actually no longer Muslim practitioner. And then also the very meaning of jihad. One my friend told me in India, real meaning of jihad is combat your negative emotions and wrong deeds, wrong actions. So later I discussed one scholar, Muslim scholar in New York. He also used to mention same way. So real meaning of jihad is struggle within yourself, the negative force and the positive force. This is the same. Buddhism, Hinduism, every religion, same.
It's very hard for me to connect to Islam because their way of thinking and their philosophy, the role of women in that is slightly different from the religion I'm born into and the one I follow now. So, but after attending the Islam sessions, I am more open to them because they are right in their own way. They have a strong faith in the Prophet, in the God, and when you actually deeply go into the religion, you start reading the Quran, you find that it has been wrongly interpreted in some way, which has led to miscommunication and the conflicts.
If there is any brother who's willing, who's a non-Muslim, who's willing to come to the mosque, he is welcome to the mosque. There is no restriction whatsoever. The only thing is, he just need to clean himself, in the place that is meant for ablution. Just wash his feet and get inside. It's a sin not to allow people come into the mosque. Allah has two portions in it. One is Al, the, La, the one and only who is worshipped. So Allah means God, who is worthy of worship. The word Muslim is from the Quran. God chose the word for the people who follow Islam as a Muslim. So a Muslim is a person who follows Islam. Quran says there's no compulsion in religion. We cannot force anybody to become a Muslim or the other way around.
What is wrong for the Sunnis is right for the Shias. So now inside right and wrongs we are fighting. So what I say is there is no right and wrong in Allah's book. Allah says there is only a consequence. Can you see? There's no right and wrong in jumping. If you want to jump from second floor, is it right or wrong to jump from second floor? I said there's no right and wrong. There's only consequence. So if you break the divine law, there is a consequence. Can you see this? There is a consequence that we Muslims also are paying by dividing ourselves into the picture of right and wrong and creating judgments, opinions and this thing, and then started putting their views into other people, and they want to enforce their views, and we are right, and that is what's happening, and that's what the chaos you find in this world.
Yeah, you can do it. If you want to pray, not being a Muslim, you can do that. But there is a violation of fundamental here. Who are you praying to, and what you are praying for, is the question that I would ask.
I have never prayed in a mosque before. It was a unique experience to see people of different faiths praying in the name of Allah. What I was praying for, I don't know. I was born in a Hindu family and have prayed in front of several gods and goddesses. Why my conditioning had stopped me from praying to Allah? I want to submit my ego. Message of all the faiths is simple: loving kindness and compassion.
See, in this whole world you will find very, very few people who are really religious. And among the religious also you have two categories of people. One category of people who makes use of God so that you have all the good things in the world. But the truly, truly religious people are the people who make use of the world to discover God. So my question always is God the means or is God the goal? Ordinarily when you pray, then what happens? God is the means for me to achieve all the good things in the world. And so I refine my prayer, and I may get special skills, special healing powers, special divine touches also through spiritual practices. But essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make use of God to be able to have a good world. True prayer is really an understanding. Once you understand what godliness is all about, like Buddha never talks about prayer. Buddha never talks about God. He never talks about heaven, because these are all metaphysical aspects. That's why Buddha is absolutely true. Once a person understands what is God, in a sense, prayer is irrelevant. To whom are you praying? So, but still you don't stop praying, because, prayer is a nice experience. You can pray, you can sing, there's a certain joy in it, but then it doesn't make sense that you're going to ask for anything. Once there is a sense of fulfillment, then what are you going to ask for? Prayer becomes just another exercise like you do everything else, another drama in itself. Prayer can be a big drama too.
Places of congregation where you pray together, it has a special energy. And I really like that energy, and I really like because you see, it's a place where everybody has a good intention, and then praying for good, for your own self, for your family, for your neighbors, and the whole humanity, I think.
I thought about many things, because all this journey make you think about everything much more. I think that there is two ways to do this journey. I mean that you can do it for two reasons. First of all, the reason to do this kind of journey is to understand the other side, because if you really understand the philosophy behind everything, so you're able to really understand what the other person do and where is he stand, and you can really understand him better. Not for taking the philosophy for yourself. I mean, you don't have to agree, but you need to understand, and then you can accept others. And the other reason is that this way you can learn about yourself much better, because all the philosophies are really smart, so you can take from them a lot of things.
Buddha, one teacher, one Buddha, in his teaching, contradictory different philosophies there. So I usually explaining to people, audience, the Buddha sort of taught a contradictory different philosophy, not due to his own confusion in his mind. One day he taught this philosophy, next day he taught something different. Like drunk Buddha. No, not that. No, he deliberately, taught contradictory philosophy in order to create more confusion among his disciples. No. Then answer is, among his own disciples, there are different mental dispositions. Therefore, it is necessary to teach different philosophical view according more suitability, different mental disposition. Therefore, what we learned from there, yes, now, some religions say there is God. Jains and Buddhism say no God, no creator. Most of the religions say God, creator. Big differences, but doesn't matter. To some people, the idea of creator is so important, so effective. One my Christian friend, he told me, this very life created by God. So no previous life, no next life, only, no previous life, this very life created by God. So that's very powerful. This very life created by God. So that was it a very strong sort of feeling of intimacy with God. Closeness. So that brings enthusiasm to follow God's teaching, practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. So very powerful. To such person, I think Buddhist sort of teaching, you are your own master. Then he may feel, I have freedom, whatever I can do. Okay, doesn't matter, like that. So the other one, much better, isn't it?
One of the biggest challenges, I think, is to intellectualize everything. When I read a text, to try and just understand it at the conceptual level. There is emptiness, there is shunyata, but then to try and apply that to your life is the biggest challenge, I think. Because there are lots of answers, but out there in the books, but it's only when you start applying them to your life that you figure out what works for you and what doesn't.
The journey of life is not simple. What matters the most is not what you are getting, but who you are becoming.
भगवान से तो कभी मेरी भेंट नहीं हुई। हमने सुना उनके बारे में बहुत है बचपन से। काशी में जन्म हुआ तो भगवान ने ये सब सृष्टि की और भगवान ने ये सब दुख दिया, सुख दिया, सब भगवान का दिया हुआ है और ये सब चराचर जगत सब उनसे ही व्याप्त है। लेकिन इतनी यात्राओं में और मैंने पृथ्वी की भी एक परिक्रमा की, हिमालय के दूर दूर के हिस्सों में, लद्दाख से लेके अरुणाचल तक, ये पूरा जो पश्चिम से लेकर के पूरब तक का हिमालय है, उसमें भी 40 वर्षों तक यात्रा की। काशी में तो मेरा जन्म ही है। देश में विदेश में घूमा, कहीं उनसे मुलाकात नहीं हुई। आपकी हुई हो तो बताइए।
I would like people, most of the people, to believe in God, because I find that when they believe in God, they become more lovable. They learn to love other people. Only because either they have fear in God or they love God, because of that they love other people. As long as that it helps them to love other people, I would like them to. Because if they lose that faith in God, they may not do that. I don't need it, that's a different thing. That's my personal matter, I don't need anything.
Sikhism believes that the God is everywhere, and if we cannot see him everywhere, we can't see him anywhere.
In the beginning, a person is spiritual not because he wants to attain moksha, etc. He is spiritual only because he has a lot of fears. There is a lot of insecurity in the world. there is a lot of people die, so he is afraid. Then he has to depend on so many things like money, etc. There is a fear, and therefore he holds on to an unknown factor, and every time he holds on to it, he sees the results. So in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that there are 4 types of devotees who worship God. Artaha, Artharthi, Jitnyasu and Jnani. 4 types. So in the beginning, a person is spiritual only because of Artha. Artha means lot of distress, lot of problems are there. Therefore he takes the shelter of God. Then he advances a step further. Artharthi means a person who have lot of desires. Money, name, fame, etc. So again he goes to God. Then a stage comes where he is interested to know the secret behind the universe and about himself. Such a person is called Jitnyasu, a person who is curious to know the ultimate truth. And the 4th one is Jnani. Jnani means a person who has known the truth. So these are the 4 types of devotees who seek God. So in the beginning, everyone starts as an Artha Bhakta. I seek God not because of salvation. I have a lot of problems. So if there is something called God who can solve my problem, I am ready to seek shelter.
What happens, it becomes words and words and words, and more words to convey that which cannot be said. How do you define God? What happens is each person defines God according to one's training, and I don't want my training to tell what God is.
If I say, I'll be giving my concept of God, you may reject it, then there is a conflict. You may accept it, then you become my follower. Then we can start another religion.
I know that God is watching what I'm doing, but I don't know how He looks. But He's there. He has created everything. He has created me.
It's a hope created, and this God is watching you. It's all creating fear that God is watching you, so be good. Why can't you be good for itself? If nobody is watching you, why won't you behave? So the God becomes a policeman. Do you see that?
Religion is something that we call it later on, because if you look at the great masters, none of them labeled it when they formed it. It's what the people and the disciples, they formed a particular way of doing things. And sometimes what happens is some of the things that carry on as traditions, and people don't really understand why they're doing certain things. But essentially what I think is religion, if you look at great masters right from Buddha to Christianity, Jesus, Guru Nanak, Guru Nanak never formed Sikhism when he was alive. Or if you look at Jesus, he never talked about Christianity. Or if you look at Buddha, he never said Buddhism. It is something that evolved later on. So I think that religion essentially is like a way of living.
If you look at the 15th century, there were 3 important things were happening. Number 1, there was religious persecution, where one major community ruling the country was trying to enforce their faith on others. Number 2, religion had become very dogmatic, a lot of ritualism involved. Number 3 was involvement of the caste system. These are 3 things which Guru Nanak felt that are not and cannot be a part of the mankind and universe. So he revolted against caste system. He revolted against dogmatism. He revolted against somebody trying to pin your faith on him. And of course, he was very much influenced by certain thinkers of that era, mostly from Sufism, a little bit from the Bhagavad Gita, and all the religious scriptures of that time. He read them and tried to take essence of them and compose them into the Guru Granth Sahib. That's why it can be called as a modern religion.
In Sikhism, they don't give charity. They do give food, but it's not like charity. It's not like I give to someone that is poor and is under me. I'm sharing. So they don't give charity, they're sharing, which is a really beautiful way of looking at that.
True happiness is composed of three things as per the Sikh Maryada. One is always remember the name of the Lord. Number two, whatever we earn honestly and by efforts. Number three, share your rewards with others. And this is the route to true happiness as embodied by our gurus.
Wisdom of all the Sikh gurus is there. Anyone can read it. I silently bow down in front of the Guru Granth Sahib. I pray that someday my ignorance is removed by the light of wisdom.
Meditation is about between you and yourself and not you and the outside. And a philosophy that focus in the relationship between you and yourself is worth looking at because there is something smart.
The evidences from last 15 years, non-invasively, the imaging studies has been performed, including the activation of these particular neurochemical neurotransmitter following meditation in the certain regions of the brain has been observed. And the functional MRI and the imaging studies have clearly demonstrated that the meditation can bring about an altered state of mind and the activity of the brain in the different regions of the brain in a progressive way. So the meditation is kind of a global phenomena which enriches the neural circuitry within the brain. So it brings about some positive changes in the neural circuitry which seems to be responsible for the better appreciation of the world within you and also the external world. So it brings about an alteration in the electrical activity in a progressive manner, which is beneficial to the self and ultimately to the society as well.
To meditate upon consciousness is very difficult because the moment you start meditating upon consciousness, you don't have any support. And supportlessly, if you have to meditate something, it is very difficult. So this particular meditation, consciousness meditation, is called Nirguna Nirakara Upasana in Hinduism. A person who is living in the body, identified with the body, he can never meditate upon something formless, something upon which you can't think. It is very abstract, it is very difficult. So therefore, at a lower stage, you are given a form to meditate upon. So the Krishna form is defined in the Puranas. He appears like this, dark blue, with a kirita, with a kundala, with a mala, with a flute, etc., etc., etc. All these forms are for meditation. It is a support for the mind. So now, according to the description, close your eyes and meditate. Or you open your eyes, have that form in front, and then meditate. Now what happens? You are not allowing the mind to go anywhere. So in the process, you chant some mantras. So you take the support of the speech. Then you take the support of the body by doing puja. So you take the support of the body, you take the support of the speech, and chanting is going on. So you take the support of the ears. Incense sticks are burnt. So you take the support of your nose. The eyes are seeing the form of the Lord. So you take the support of all the senses in the beginning. Greater the support, lesser the possibility of fall. So as the mind becomes purified through this lower kind of meditation, once the mind becomes extremely pure and prepared, then he becomes fit to meditate upon the higher, Nirguna Nirakara. Earlier it is Saguna Sakara. Sakara means with form. Saguna means with attributes, with a lot of qualities and all that. They are all the support for the mind.
I have been in a church before, but it was really starting in me a thinking process. Why is church so different from a temple, from visiting a temple, from a mosque and all this stuff? So that was really amazing.
God spoke through different prophets in the earlier times, Jewish prophets, or even prophets like Buddha and Mahavira. And now God has spoken through Christ. Carrying the cross symbolizes the discipleship, being a disciple to Jesus, and living in society, doing the things that Jesus did during his lifetime. So that is why cross as a symbol is important to us as a power for saving humanity. Cross is a way of life, cross is humility and a symbol of victory.
I felt that Jesus is suffering in every person. Like Mother Teresa says, the very moment I touch the person, I am touching the body of Jesus. She feels the presence of Jesus in those people. So when she touches, she's serving the Lord in those people.
Freedom is simply an opportunity to find a definition for yourself. All beliefs are borrowed, others have given them to you. They are not yours. And how can a borrowed thing can lead you towards the real?
So moral principle is the basis of happy life. Clear? Not money. Once you have certain moral ethics, that's the real sort of treasure, brings happiness, joyfulness.
Those religions are famous in the name of their prophets. But in Jainism, the religion is not famous or known to the people by the prophets or Tirthankaras. They have called it as Jainism. Jainism, it means the Jina. Jina means one who has conquered. One who has conquered one's own self. Such persons are always there. When this universe came into existence, right from that time, such people are there. And as far as Buddhist scriptures and contemporary other evidences also states, Buddha and Mahavira, they are the followers of Jainism. When the code of conducts placed by Mahavira, they were very difficult to practice. Earlier he too was the follower of Shramana cult, but he felt very difficult to practice them. Gautama Buddha introduced a middle path. The practicing concept of ahimsa, it was not possible for common man. So in a way he rebelled silently and he started his own way of life.
Hate cannot take away hate. Only love can take away hate. So love is a response. To hate for the sake of hate is a reaction. So reactions don't work. Beauty of nature is one thing that can be the best teacher. So in the midst of nature, where a child is brought up with a questioning mind, is what is significant. The whole question of education is, are we educating children what to think or how to think? Teaching them how to think is important. What to think is all propaganda. Propaganda of the religion or propaganda of Coca-Cola and McDonald's, it's all the same.
I think we've had a lot of conversations about different things in spirituality, but there has always been this barrier or a boundary beyond which we have never gone. So I'm eager to go back and test that boundary. Has that extended or not? Can I really talk with a Christian friend about the banes of Christianity or Hinduism? I'm a Hindu. Or go out and meet some of my Muslim friends and we together have a discussion which is beyond religions. Not holding on to our opinions and then talking about God, but letting go of everything and then talking about God as humans.
तो ये जो ही वाद है, मेरा ही, ये सनातन ही, बौद्ध ही, ईसाई ही, इस्लाम ही, या अगर आप अपने मित्रों, हमारे अपने मित्रों को लें तो कृष्णमूर्ति ही इसका एकमात्र रास्ता है। तो ये जो ही वाद है, ये ही वाद भयानक है। इसकी जगह अगर हम थोड़ा सा शब्द खाली बदलते हैं, भी कहें कि ये भी एक रास्ता है, ये भी एक रास्ता है, ये भी एक रास्ता है, तो फिर शायद बहुत से झगड़े सुलझ सकते हैं। लेकिन ये खाली एक शब्द के बदलने से नहीं होता है, इसके पीछे एक दिमाग की और सोच की पूरी सरणी है और पूरा एक सिलसिला है। उस सिलसिले को बदलने की ज़रूरत है।
The ultimate truth is you yourself. Now suppose a dreamer is asking, what is the ultimate truth? Now what answer can you give? You are that ultimate truth who is the waker, isn't it? anything which you point out in the dream world is going to be unreal. So the only answer you can give to a dreamer is, wake up, you are that reality. The whole world is projected in your own mind. Wake up. In the same way, the scriptures also say, you are that truth. Tat tvam asi. And when that seeker realizes this truth in himself, he says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that God. I am that truth. So the purpose of life is know yourself.
If you ask me, do you know yourself? What will I answer? I can't say yes, I can't say no. That is what is called unknowable. At the same time, I can't deny myself. When you ask, do you know God? It's like asking, do you know you? You can't say I don't know, or you can't say I know. But at the same time, you know it exists as a fact that I exist.
Most of the human beings are very beautiful and very good. But when they create a community, I think something goes wrong. The chemistry changes. So this creating a community has become a bit dangerous.
Faith is the belief in what you do not see. And the reward is you start seeing what you believed in. So in the beginning you have to start with faith. Yes, there is a possibility that there is such a great truth. You start following the path, and as you start getting glimpses of the higher, that very faith becomes your experience. And once it becomes your experience, faith is no more necessary.
I am Buddhist. I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. Once I develop attachment towards Buddhism, then my respect or my faith becomes biased. Then you can't see the other religious values. So that's the mistake.
I am slightly pessimistic about it. I want to tell you more about it. I feel, even Hindus are not prepared to come together. Muslims on their own are not prepared to come together. Christians are not prepared to come together. And we are wanting the Christians and the Muslims and Hindus to understand it. How is it possible? Can you bring Hindus together the way they are behaving? You can't bring them together. Now all the killing in Iraq is just now happening in between Shias and Sunnis. All the terrorism is Pakistan in between Muslims and Muslims. So religion doesn't resolve all that. So man keeps on dividing. So just few fragments wanting to understand each other doesn't work.
Which is really required to correct the misconception that people have created by media or any other source, for example, even created by the Muslims who with their actions have distorted the beautiful image of Islam. So interfaith dialogue is the need of the hour.
Buddha said the dharma of a human being is compassion. Krishnamurti doesn't say it that way. He says violence is a conditioning of the human being. And can you be cleansed of that? So if violence is not there, you don't have to talk about non-violence. We talk about non-violence because violence is there.
So आपके शादी को कितना साल हो गया?
63 में हुआ.
63? मतलब 60 years हो गया.
हम लामा था पहले.
अच्छा.
63 में उसका सादा लोग हो गया. लामा हो गया.
तो आप पहले लामा थे?
लामा थी.
अच्छा. तो इनसे प्यार होने के बाद लामागिरी छूट गया.
हाँ. बहुत सुंदर था ये.
हाँ. अच्छा. तो आप प्यार में पड़ गए बस.
में पड़ गए. वो भी हमको प्यार है, हम भी उसको प्यार, दोनों.
तो अभी भी बहुत प्यार है.
अभी भी है. हम नहीं तो वो नहीं बैठ सकते. दिल नहीं लगता, किसी को दिल नहीं लगता.
तो कौन ज्यादा ख्याल रखता है, ये कि आप? ये आपका ज्यादा ख्याल रखता है.
There's a difference in between response and reaction. Reaction is when I'm holding something within me and that reacts. But when I do not hold anything in me, say no prejudice whatsoever, then I respond to the given situation. So I see a situation and don't act like a Hindu. I act like a human being. That would be very different. The real responsibility of each one of us is to understand ourselves. And in that, perhaps we'll understand the humanity. So Krishnamurti talked about understanding in the mirror of relationship. In that mirror of relationship, you understand you and me. Because if I stay in isolation, I feel everything is good with me. But when I relate to you, I find that it's not true. So then I really know what my prejudices are also, just as I understand your prejudices also. Darkness getting collected in the cave for millions of years. You don't need million years for the darkness to go out of the cave. You just have to light a candle. This is what they say, self-enlightenment. In that lightning of the candle, all the darkness goes at one flash moment.
Because I'd never had any contact with religion before that, because my family is fairly non-religious. Once I started exploring Buddhism, I realized that I was getting a lot of things out of it for my own life. Even if I'm not a Buddhist, there are things about it that I can apply to my life. And when I heard about the Interfaith program, I thought, if Buddhism has given me this much, then maybe other faiths also have concepts and ideas that I could use for my own life and to help me understand life better.
All the religions also were created to help people. Another thing that I learned is that people are good inside. Everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to be good and want the people around him to be happy. So what I learned is that if everything is good in the source, but today we have so many problems, so why? I mean, we have a nice philosophy, we have the practical, but something in the middle today I think is not working so well. And the biggest study from this journey is the question why.
My interest in the external became less and less, and the crux or the essence of each of the faiths became more important. And then again, as time went on, I think my interest in silence increased. And it wasn't so much more about information, but really the wisdom that was in those informations.
So when I get back, I'm going to try not to judge too easily, but try to have a more analyzing and critical eyes, but still try to have an open mind and open heart to different things.
You shouldn't always have that motive of changing the whole world or changing society. If you can even just begin with yourself, then that's good enough. So I think I'm working on that. That's my contribution.
No, I just believe to try to be a good human being. That's it.
And what's the purpose of your life?
My goal in life is to...
My purpose of life is to find the purpose of life. There is no greater purpose. This journey will continue. I am chasing a shadow. What I want simply does not exist. I do not want to follow where the path may lead. I want to go where there is no path.